Special Counsel John Durham. We already suspect that his long-awaited report has been making movement in some of our other polling, especially the one about dwindling news media credibility. So let's address this topic head-on, shall we? Although perhaps not everyone has heard about the contents of the report, that's very understandable considering the current state of the news media. So let's get a baseline question. How likely is it that Donald Trump's presidential campaign colluded with Russian agents during the 2016 election? 43% of voters say it's at least somewhat likely, and only 26% say very likely. 47% say not likely, and 38% of them say not at all likely. 9% aren't sure. This specter of Russian collusion, after years of being driven home by the mostly Democrat-controlled press, seems like it's a really tough thing for Trump to shake. But here are the party numbers. And it's pretty much a Democrat thing. Only 15% of Republicans and 22% of independents say it's very likely, but 40% of Democrats say it's very likely, and 67% of Democrats say it's at least somewhat likely. Only 25% of Democrats say it's not likely. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get at this by informing voters with a little bit of baseline information about the contents of the report, which they probably didn't hear about in the news. Special Counsel John Durham recently completed an investigation that found the FBI was aware Hillary Clinton's campaign was the source for claims about Trump and Russian collusion, which had no basis in evidence. Should FBI officials involved in promoting the false Russia-Trump claims be criminally prosecuted? A pretty astounding 59% of voters say yes, and only 23% say no. 18% are not sure. Keep in mind in the last question that only 47% of voters say that Trump didn't collude with Russia, and here 59% want the complicit FBI agents to go to jail. That's a pretty incredible shift. And again, the party numbers are pretty interesting. 74% of Republicans say yes, as do 60% of independents, and only 18% of independents say no. Now, the Republican yes numbers are directionally similar to the number of people who thought it wasn't likely Trump colluded with Russia. It's pretty much the same thing with independents. But look at Democrats. 67% of them think Trump colluded with Russia, but when told about the Durham report, 45% of them think the FBI agent should go to jail, and only 33% say no. It really does seem like news about the Durham report isn't getting to as many Democrats as to others. And keep in mind from our recent polling, the Democrats had an incredible 11-point drop in confidence in the political news they're getting. And here's another really big eye-opener. 44% of those who say that it's very likely that Trump colluded with Russia now want to see the FBI agents involved incarcerated. If that isn't evidence of a stunning breach of trust by the media, I don't know what is. Post your theories and observations in the comments at YouTube. But check this out. A ridiculous 63% of voters agree that the Russian collusion charges against Trump was a well-orchestrated hit job by the Clinton campaign in concert with government officials. 48% strongly agree. Keep in mind, from our latest Trump-Biden matchup, only 40% of voters say they would vote for Biden, but 48% strongly agree that the Russian collusion charge was a Clinton campaign op. Only 30% of voters disagree that Russia was a Clinton campaign op, and only 19% of them strongly disagree. Let me put that another way. Only 1 in 5 likely voters can confidently say that the Russian collusion charges, which, by the way, were the only thing that brought Trump's job approval down into Biden approval territory, was not a Clinton campaign operation in collusion with the government. And again, Democrats are surprising us here. 45% say they at least somewhat agree, 32% strongly, and about the same amount disagree. So they're basically split. But keep in mind, by almost a 3-to-1 margin, in the very first question of this set, Democrats thought Trump colluded with Russia. But let's close on independents. By nearly a 2-to-1 margin, they agree that Hillary Clinton was behind what essentially was the biggest roadblock that President Trump faced during his term. So with 6 in 10 voters wanting to see the FBI agents involved in spreading the Russian collusion hoax to be criminally prosecuted, will we see any accountability? Well, a lot of that depends on Republicans, and these numbers should give them some pretty solid public opinion encouragement. Do you have a few minutes of free time today? If you do, I'd really like you to spend them by going to Twitter, Rasmussen_poll, and finding these polling results in our Twitter feed. If you have the time, please tag your senator and your congressional representative. If you want, you could even tell us you did in the YouTube comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thanks for watching.